And by the way, people that were typing in, they they just sent it to the host and panelists. Should be able to send to everyone, but just in case, there you go. Great. Well, thanks. All right. So we have a good crew on here today. And what we're going to focus on here, I do want to just start off by saying this is a couple attempts in for Daniel and I to just get live on a call and be able to talk. Last time I requested time from him and I didn't have the right calendar showed up. So I'm glad that he gave it another go, and here we are. And I have a lot to learn from Daniel, and I know we all have a lot to learn from Daniel today. So we'll be talking about that, and yeah, we're really going to go through like a raw behind the scenes look at how we view AI, and particularly regarding email. So we're gonna cover some really exciting things. So as we go today, and we do have a bunch of participants, which is great to see. So a really good participant show up ratio, Daniel, right now. So that's great. And just to get started, this is kind of going to be the driving question today. So, using AI for email in particular, but to the max. And Daniel's out on the edge, the frontier of doing this. I run a cold email agency that is using AI in everything that every message that gets sent out. Really, I mean, there's not any message that isn't touched by AI. So we will be touching on like how to maximize this for your own business. So, Daniel, would you give a little background on yourself and just say hello to everybody?
Yeah, so I'm Daniel. I'm from Israel, and I'm the co-founder of two SaaS companies, software as a service, and both of them are using machine learning and AI, whether the LLM, the one that all of us know, ChatGPT, etc., and the also some of the algorithms we developed by ourselves. Yeah, I'm a skydiver, jumping out of airplanes, opening the parachute on time, at least for now, and climbing some mountains in Nepal also. Yeah, love extreme and running interesting company with around 50 people with interesting technology.
All right. I didn't know
Yeah.
about the sky, so that's exciting. So I'm the co-founder of a basic cold email agency that services about 20 clients, and we have become like the marketing arm or the third arm of email marketing for these clients. They have employees anywhere from 5 employees to 200 employees. So we're starting to get into some bigger departments and bigger companies that are relying on email outreach company, my company, to do all of their cold outreach and their outbound and their signal testing for emailing. And yeah, I travel pretty much full time. I enjoy the lifestyle of being able to go around the world and run a business. So definitely, if you love traveling, we have a common thing together. So yeah, we will get going here, and we're going to touch on some of these things that are going to appear here on the webinar. And really, we want this to be as conversational as you guys want it. So if you have any questions, just write it in the chat, and we're here to answer them. We're not here to take your time, but to give you a reward for your time. So if it goes long, if it goes short, all good. But we are two founders that love emailing, and we love using AI in what we do and delivering results for clients. So we're here for everybody that's on. So I'm just going to start with like the first warning sign that we're going to flash that I have learned the hard way about AI and emailing, because I'm not a tech guy like Daniel. I need to kind of admit that I don't know a lot about how to implement AI into emailing. That's like my first step. and then I try to learn as we go. But unless I admit that at the beginning, I can waste months of time and energy. I can waste thousands and thousands of dollars. And we've spent as a company so far, just in AI tools alone this year, we've spent probably 100,000 USD. And so like just think about how much error. What am I going to get for this? Probably much like many of you on. So um, we have used cold outreach to get to the highest level people. Even the other day, we're working with a company that does financial fraud detection, and we got to the SVP of financial protection or asset protection at Walmart. Walmart, Fortune 10 company, Fortune 50, and scheduled a meeting with them using all the AI and all these tricks that we'll share today. But we've also, my co-founder and I, we used to have a software startup that focused on human resource solutions, and we sold to all these companies that you see up here just by cold email. We cold emailed them. Obviously, we got on a call, and they purchased our software. So cold outreach works, and it still works. And this isn't just the logos here, but Walmart, and it's pretty amazing to see that. Here's some of the tech stack that from my side that I focus on, and one of the other ones in here is we could break down what goes into the OpenAI one. Like they have GPT-4o, they have GPT-4o mini, they got all sorts of ones. But just so you know, like we're using a lot of Clay. You've probably heard of that if you've done any emailing. It's like the spreadsheets on steroids. Instantly, it's like a tool to send at scale and do your email marketing. And then you've got regular Google and research tools like Cohere, and then Claude, which is probably the best writer. But it's all okay, and we can handle it as we go. But the problem really is, from my view, is that I have to constantly relearn what's going on. I was talking to Daniel right before this. We have some people that we've been, as part of a mastermind, members of our company's mastermind group. They've been retooling their AI outreach to get ready for launch now for 9 months, and they haven't actually launched something. And I don't say that to pick on them, but in reality, like every 2 weeks, you basically have to relearn AI and what goes into it. It's something that I'm dealing with constantly, and I'm just talking about tools. Daniel, do you have any light that you can shed on how much learning goes into your research and how you and your co-founders and your team are deploying this?
Yeah, so actually, personally, me and my co-founder, which is also my brother, we're very familiar with AI and machine learning. We spent more than 10 years in the university, so we developed it a lot of years ago. Also, by the way, I was in the Israeli version of the Shark Tank with something with related to AI and machine learning with image processing, but not with wording. So we feel very comfortable with that, and this is why we also direct all the team to be aware of it. We love the tools, obviously, of OpenAI, etc., and we use it a lot in our company as well. And we always suggest using technology because we are kind of lazy and we prefer everything where is automated, and this is something we try to tell everyone. I mean, if you can be more productive with technology, just do it. Don't waste your time, which is the most precious way. Yeah, most precious thing. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's taken a lot of years and a lot of research, but also a lot of, I'm sure, failures along the way. And can you talk about, like, say the pace of change right now that you're seeing? Like now that you have all these large language models and you have all these, billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar investments going into these companies, even the companies I mentioned in my tech stack, Clay, the email spreadsheet company, basically, they just raised $60 million at a $500 million valuation, like pouring money into these companies. Like, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of the speed of what's changing out there, you being a tech founder?
First, so many tools built on these technologies of the LLMs. And we're also spending a lot of money in using these tools to build a lot of technology. And also, uh, unfortunately, I believe that many people change their job, or I don't want to use this like lose their job, but for sure. It will be very, very interesting. I mean, the next 10 years will change a lot in the tech industry for sure, because we personally know it. I mean, we automate a lot of things that people did before, and we don't need any more people doing it already. That's it. So even if we as a small company can impact, imagine these companies are raising a lot of hundreds of millions, and the world gonna change for sure.
Yeah.
And I suggest everyone to try to adapt, yeah, somehow.
Yeah. And from my end, again, like I don't always like to, I'm lazy too, of like, I don't want to have to relearn tools every 2 weeks. But in reality, I switch up which LLM I'm using every 2 weeks for writing and researching in Clay, because they get cheaper and faster and better, or they start hallucinating. So it's like I have to stay up to date on these things personally all the time. And a lot of the tools and tricks that people start using, and then when it gets to mass adoption, it doesn't work as much anymore because it has like a diminishing return. So you have to stay up on that too. Are you just using things that are, you know, going out of style in a sense? So again, my starting point is admitting that I really don't know AI that much, and I've spent a lot of time and money, and I have to basically restart every 2 weeks. So in a lot of ways, and I always, when I talk to Daniel, he probably wonders why I ask, but I'm always just like, so what's the latest? Like, what do you think about the latest tools, and like, what are you seeing in your business? And he's like, well, what do you mean? But in reality, it's because I trust how much he's in the trenches learning this stuff, and any bit that he can share with me helps my perspective to understand like what's going on in like the email world, in the AI world. So sorry, Daniel, for always pestering you with that. And um, like my basic thing is I am here to save time and money, not only just for you guys, but for myself. And so when I look at like what are the options here, I mean, you can save time and money. The best thing is just don't even try. Like basically just don't do AI. I think if you start going down the rabbit hole, you might end up way too far, and especially if you're not with the right guidance. And then the big other thing is like, well, yeah, save time and money. You can use tools like AnyBiz, and AnyBiz is Daniel's company this is something that they've been building for a long time, and we are customers ourselves, and we've seen the evolution. But it's an automated AI assistant that knows when and how to reach out to people. So, Daniel, can you just share a little bit, and we'll go into it after, but can you just share a little bit about like, how you think about AnyBiz right now, like in the simplest terms?
In the simple way, we just took all the technical work from the SDR, from the sales development representative in the companies, end to end, from setting up all the technical things like domain, emails, sequences, etc. put all the data to machine learning, and actually the computer tell us what to do, what domain to buy, how to send the email, when to send the email, when to send the LinkedIn message, etc. So we took everything, put into a technology, and we just look what's going on. So if you ask me, what will be the next step? For example, will we send this amount of emails today? Will we send the follow-up for someone? I don't know, because the computer knows much better than me. It's like 100 SDR sitting together and sharing the knowledge, what works the best. This is the technology, and this is what we are doing on AnyBiz. In 5 minutes, you can be the best SDR and be the hero of your company.
That's a really good way to put it, like the 100 SDRs in a room or in a, learning together. So I like that. So I am just going to bring up from my side I'm going to show you like how I personally think about outreach in my company. And I think you're all going to enjoy this because, again, like I'm trying to show you how this works, like as an agency owner. So my team, we're not really like again, we're not like Daniel where we're super advanced technically. So we operate off spreadsheets, and from my side, these are the things that we're using with like to deliver results for our clients. That I just think about it in terms of like we're one SDR. Daniel mentioned how he's got 100 in a room, and he's got thousands really that are thinking together. But from my side, we have playbooks, and the way that I check down lists, and this is going to be stuff that I hope you take from this webinar. It's really easy. The first thing that you should be thinking about when it comes to emailing on your own and how to, do cold outreach using AI, the simplest thing that you can do is dig up old lists or any lists that are being generated in your business right now. If you've got people that are clicking on ads and you can get their emails, if you've got people filling out forms, if you have a bunch of old customers that you have their emails for, if you have people that filled out old forms, whatever it is, events you went to, any lists that you have that can give you even just the slightest bit of acknowledgement that they intended to contact you, they intended to click on your link, they intended to engage with you. That's what we call it, an intent list. And that's going to give you anywhere from double to 10 times the reply rate than working with a cold list. And we see this in our business consistently. So right off the bat, you can scrape some value off of your old lists, and it's just so helpful. A place to start. And it's not too old. We have a company right now giving us lists from 2010 that we are verifying their emails and reaching out to those lists. So don't think that, oh, well, that was 3 years ago, I don't want to reach back out. No, just try to get every list that has intent for you going. So that's the first thing that I will just, really, really easily, if you take one thing from this, dig up an old list and try to put that into your outreach system, whatever you're using. And then if you have other ways to expand to like some interesting lists that are going to have a little bit more like viability, whether it's job titles that you're reaching out to, or even nowadays you can get the followers of a competitor on LinkedIn, and you can have somebody research those individual followers and get their contact information. You can put them in your email marketing. These will cost money, of course, but again, this is what we're doing for ourselves and our clients. And all of these things just lead to higher reply rates. Lead magnets, if you're not familiar, it's just the simple way. I'm sure you've all gotten emails where you're like, somebody's asking me, can I send over a video? Can I send over a case study? That's just basically they're using a magnet that is going to get you to reply and give you something. Advice, this is when you ask a prospect for like advice of how, Daniel, I'm reaching out and I'm curious to get your expert advice. I'm wondering how we could grow our business in the email marketing world. and given your, rich experience, and your ability to scale, I realize we have some gaps. Would you be open to a quick advice call with me, for a virtual coffee? I'd love to hear your thoughts. We do that for our clients, and we reach out to prospects of theirs, and we get a lot of phone calls with people. I've gotten on the phone with a dozen Fortune 500 CEOs actually from this. We've gotten on the phone with billionaires from this, just asking for advice, and that's cold. Pure sales, just write a pitch that really works. Great. We do a charitable PS, so something that is like, if you reply to this email, we will donate 5 bowls of dog food to puppies, and that costs us like 25 cents a piece, I think it is. And it's just such a helpful way to show engagement to the Google and the Yahoo and the Outlook algorithms that you're an engageable email inbox, and therefore you're going to get higher ranked in the inbox. You're going to have less spam. We do mass blasting. Sometimes, like, we'll load a list, buy one domain, one inbox, and we'll send out, and we realize that domain will get killed, so we'll kill that. And then, we always have the ability to double and triple or 5x or 6x what clients are doing if we establish, any of these things that lead to reply rates that are benchmark wise. If you can get 1 reply for every 100 that you're sending, you're doing okay. And that includes follow-ups that you're sending. That's not unique contacts. But if you can start getting, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 replies. We had a client yesterday we were looking at, they got 38 replies out of every 100 we sent. It was crazy. But how did they do that? Obviously, we were using some AI, but really we were just focused on intent lists that they had generated in the past. So these are the playbooks that I'm using in my business, to generate, opportunities for our clients. And I just wanted to share that with you. And it's all, AI tools. I'm not building AI tools, but I am using AI tools to do these basics. And, it's always changing. So I'm always having to relearn how to execute these basic playbooks. On that note, does anybody have any questions for me in that regard? Because I'm happy to answer anything. And then we'll get into more of, how Daniel's thinking about it. Daniel, you feel free to ask me any questions.
Yeah, tell me about your experience with this big companies and that you, I would love to hear about it. Some crazy story you had. Yeah.
Like the bigger companies we're working with?
Yeah.
Or do you mean like getting to a Fortune 500 CEO or something like that?
Whatever. I mean, I want to hear about the crazy story you had from your experience, and something unbelievable that you achieved with this, cold email, etc. in your methodology.
Well, let's say we reached out to the CEO of MasterCard. MasterCard, obviously, they're a $300-400 billion company. They are obviously their CEO is one of the busiest people on the planet. And I reached out asking for his advice on what we were doing. This was in my software company, and he shot back a response within like 5 minutes, and he got on the phone with me several times in the next couple of weeks, introduced me to his chief HR guy, brought me down to their headquarters, and they became a big client of ours.
Wow.
And it was just from a cold email. So, and actually 3 out of our first 4 clients came from that approach, the advice approach, and our first $100,000 a year client came from that advice approach. And those are some amazing statistics that were just cold contact, cold emails. So yeah, those are some of the crazier ones. But I mean, we've gotten replies from like, just people you never would guess, like, really like multi-billionaires who will hop on a call or be like, "What's your number? I'll call you." And you're on the phone with them. And it's just, and they'll talk for an hour. And it's so weird, but it's like they got nothing else to do with their time, or they just want to talk to somebody. I don't know, but clearly they're very busy, and so we've used that a few times, and yeah, it's one of the craziest things that I've come across in the cold outreach space.
Amazing. Interesting. I never talked to such a big person, but yeah, we have a question here, Pranam.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, Doug asking a question.
Okay, let me see it. Yeah, for some reason I can't see it. Oh, there we
Well,
go.
let me. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think there are differences in approach with B2B versus B2C and, with these processing tools? Daniel, you can answer that, and I'll also give my take, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, definitely there is a huge difference between B2B and B2C. Uh, so mainly B2B is more about the volumes are much lower. The messaging is different than B2C. So when B2C, so let's make the difference. So on B2C, the volumes of the emails you need to send is much higher. So I think it's obvious. Mainly the B2C sender sending HTMLs, some designed emails, while B2B is more text messages, I mean plain text messages, etc. So this is the first difference. The second is the deliverability. It's much harder to get to the inbox where you send B2C versus B2B. B2B is easier because people more engaging with your message, while B2C, people mark you as a spammer, so then you hurt your deliverability. Yeah, so it's two different approaches, totally different ways to do that. And I think there is a very small, I would say differently. So very high difference between both approaches. And I would not say you can implement something that will help on the other side. So yeah. And
Yeah,
the tools.
I
Also the tools are also different. The tools are totally different, and mainly the B2B tools are B2B tools. They are dedicated for B2B, and B2C are for B2C. Also, there is a difference in the legality of both things. So yeah.
True. Yeah, legality as well. And let's just say B2C is business to consumer, B2B is business to business. B2C, think about like a phone company like AT&T or, Vodafone emailing you about a new upgrade offer. That's business to consumer, whereas business to business is like, a company emailing you about using an expensive new software that, will take all your data and make sense of it. Also the price point, B2B is going to be 5,000 plus typically per year at least. And obviously it can go much higher than that. But anything like 5,000 or below, maybe it's more thought of as consumer. We have done some B2C recently. It's let's just say it's a blend. Like we're doing some outreach for a company that owns a bunch of Airbnbs, and they want to reach people who are looking to stay at their Airbnb. And so it's a little bit like it's a few $100s a night to stay there, and they want to get people interested in booking, but also they want to get people who are interested in booking for like a month at a time. So, they get them interested and then they try to upgrade them or do longer term stays, or maybe they commit to staying a few times in the year. So there are many differences. I would say, the tools of like using MailChimp or Constant Contact B2C, that's what you use. The tools you'll use for B2B is going to be like AnyBiz, Apollo, Instantly, things like that. So, yeah, there are big differences, but it you can't totally rule out B2C. if you are, trying to find a creative angle for it. So we're doing a little bit with it, but not in a traditional, like sending out 30 million emails to, in a some sort of nice graphic and visual way. But great question. So, all right. In my view, again, like research on your own or learn from people who are in the trenches. And I consider, what we're doing. Okay, cool. We have another question, by the way. As far as B2B, are you aggregating multiple tools into one dashboard? How do you see all the data in one place? So Daniel, this is an easy one for you to kind of answer for what you're doing.
Yeah, so if you are aggregating by yourself, you can use Amplitude. You can use for which is a very good tool, Amplitude. You can use we use Grafana, but what we are building, you don't need actually all the data. In what we're building in AnyBiz, you don't need this data that makes some noise for yourself. We show you only what is important. But if you're aggregating everything by yourself, Amplitude is a very good tool to make the dashboard. And as I said, Grafana, but Grafana is more is for I would say developers or something like that.
Yeah, and with AnyBiz, like because you're doing multi-channel, Daniel, you got LinkedIn, you got normal, like
Yeah.
it's nice to see it all in one place and see what the activity is. So that's good. We found that like you can track the activity no matter what platform they're reaching out from. From my side, we use a lot of just like our team members aggregate the data manually from different platforms. We're not super techy, but we've got some automations that very basic. And then even from a spreadsheet standpoint, I do want to share with you guys, like, let's say that you've got a spreadsheet. I'll share something that I hope is useful to you all. Let's see. There's a new tool in Claude that's pretty interesting, and it helps you visualize data. And so, this is one of the ways that we're using it, and I'll share this. Like, it'll do, I've asked it like a decent prompt from previous times, and I give it a prompt and whatnot, but I just want to give you guys a sense of like how this can visualize data for companies. So let's just say I start a new chat and I want to say, create an interactive bar chart on, and you can upload a spreadsheet if you want on cold email reply rates over time. And you're going to see Claude, which is by Anthropic. Claude is going to create this, and it's going to program it for you. And you can see it in real time. So if you're non-tech, but you want to have somebody to do your quick coding or quick tech for visualizing some data, it can do a good job. So, it's just loading up. But, I don't know where it's going to pull this from. It might be pulling from my own, but, you could say do it for the industry, or I could, add in my own spreadsheet. But you saw how it coded it up, and then it makes it interactive. I use this for aggregating some of our data for clients, and I'll do like a data debrief for them. And it's really good. And you can even say like put 3 surprising insights at the bottom of this, and it does a phenomenal job. So I just wanted to touch on that if you wanted a quick hack in that case. Daniel, have you used any of that?
No. Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
no.
it's for like non techies, but it's pretty simple. So Daniel, why don't you walk us through just, this part of AnyBiz and how you're approaching like the tool?
Yeah. So first, the prospect identification. The concept here, when I started thinking about what is the future, I mean, and where is the pain, is mainly I think where I believe is the pain is setting up all the technical things, all the technicalities, and I think this is the pain. But what is the only thing that I believe that no technology can replace is the creativity or understanding the business. And what do I mean by understanding the business? No one better than the business owner or someone in the business can understand the two following things. The first is who is your potential customer? I mean, who can buy from you? I don't think any machine can do that. We can guess, we can make some assumptions, but no one really knows who can buy from you very well. This is the first question, and I don't think technology can answer, at least right now. And I don't believe the answers that there are from the technology is good enough. And the second question, which is very hard to answer, is what makes you different? What makes you special? And this is also the technology cannot tell this answer. No technology can tell you as a business owner what's special about yourself. If you don't know, it's very hard. So these two questions, who is your potential customer and what's special about you, this is the only thing we need as an input to our system. And all the rest is done by a machine inside what we are doing. So whether it's using some AI algorithms, machine learning, writing the messages, follow everything around it, setting up domains, emails, warm them up, everything you can imagine. So we left only with these two questions, and this is what we did, and this is what I believe this should be the future, and this is what we are that we implemented in AnyBiz, and this is the direction we go. So we need from you only this information, and I really truly believe no machine can replace it. A lot of times people are asking us or telling us that we really don't know what is special about us, or they give answers that are not making it the business no differentiation in the business. And I think this is the most important thing to understand as a business owner, what makes you different. And it doesn't matter when you know the answer for the questions, you can also go and do by yourself, obviously, and use some tools and integrate all of them together. But these are the most important thing that I believe, and this is what we build around it. And all the technology just support the answer of the questions that our customers giving to us. Yeah, so I think this is the short, long answer for for personalization, intelligence, and machine learning, AI, etc. And I think the business should focus on mainly on sales and growth, and not all the other things. And this is what you are doing in your business, Pranam, which you are helping the company to grow, obviously, to make more sales. These are the focus of the business should be, and not all the other small things of technicalities and stuff like that. Yeah, this is my opinion. This is what we are doing. Yeah, hope it was good enough.
Yeah, no, it's helpful to even think about those first two. Like I'm sure you've thought about 1,000 other questions that you see as like irreplaceable or possibly irreplaceable from the human starting standpoint. But in reality, those are the only two questions that, the human has to answer, and then your technology does the rest. And then that's what's, so
Right.
I know you've thought about that. And then any idea, because sometimes predictive lead scoring is like, I feel like a lot of people have their own ideas about this. What does that mean to you, and like how are you seeing that as important, or is it less important now or more important?
We also have it in our system, but honestly, this is good. But when you have a lot of data, when you have a lot of data, and not the data, I mean, of the name, LinkedIn, and email, is the metadata you collect about the lead, then you can say something about it. But if you don't have a lot of data, for example, what kind of data? What time should you send, for example, an email for someone that in higher probability will reply, for example? What should be written in the email? How the email should look like? So much data you need to have until it will be really effective. We obviously measured and see some difference. We don't have this billions of data points about everyone, but we saw a difference, and I think obviously the direction going to lead scoring is a very good idea, which will be very very good. But as I said, when you have a lot of data, you can you can see the difference.
Yeah, well, that's even from, it's good to know, because I think it's an attractive term to think about. Like, oh, I need to know I've got 100 prospects and 10 of them replied. I want to do a data analysis to predict the lead score. It's like, that's not really going to get you anywhere, because it's not, doesn't have the data that you really need at scale. And you're going to waste your time, you're going to waste your money. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's a good overview. And so can you tell us a little bit, Daniel, about how people are seeing success with their AI sales agents, and like maybe some of the the things that are going well, maybe some surprising things that you've seen?
Yeah, so we have customers, and actually, I mean, the success they are seeing. Obviously, we cannot be good for every customer. There are customers, that for them is working less. Some of them working, the system works better. Mainly, I would say, because of the input of the customer. We are always trying to improve the technology, but what is impacting the results is the input of the customers, the two questions that I just mentioned. I mean, the differentiation, and if the customer knows exactly who is the ICP. The one that actually knows it very well, they get a lot of leads and without any headache. They just, invested 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the beginning, put all the data to the system, and all the rest started running, improving itself, fixing deliverability, writing the messages, follow up, and just giving leads to the customers. So I truly believe so that this is the future. So we are almost covered everything with the outbound, which is email, LinkedIn, and phone calls. We even doing phone calls, AI phone calls. And the next phase will be the inbound, channel. I mean, right now is the outreach, the outbound, and the next phase, which will already started, is the inbound. So, for example, we connect to the CRM, take data from there, and reach out, etc., etc. And this, I believe, the future. So all the automations, all what computer can do. I mean, a lot of companies already, I mean, looking in this direction. But yeah, the only things that I already mentioned is the differentiation of the business and understanding who is your customer. And this is very, very important for the success for, I think, every business, besides if they're using any tool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's basically like in the beginning, if you just answer those two questions, then your system, your automation, your tool is going to do the rest. So it's pretty cool. And so, any sense on the data? Like, what are you finding from how you program these agents? Are they like, do you see any of them turning sentient, and are they making decisions and talking to you all the time? Like, tell us a little bit about like how they're. Are you seeing any trends about how they're making decisions?
Honestly, I really don't know. I really don't know what's going on in the brain, right? So there is a algorithm that actually takes a lot of data and take the decision. So we all always looking on it, but we don't know. I mean, it's like really drawing the neurons of the brain, because as you have more data points, you have a better decision. This is how machine learning works, and the decision is very easy. The decision is much easier and much easier to decide and put the line between left or right or black and white. So it's very interesting to see, and so the decision making is much smarter and faster than any human, which is this is what very nice about it.
Nice. Um, and you guys do. You mentioned the phone part that you're doing, and I got a preview of it, and it's pretty exciting. Are you are you doing more LinkedIn than you used to? Less? Like how do you see like the future of LinkedIn outreach through AnyBiz?
Um, I think the so LinkedIn, as you probably know, LinkedIn is very limited, right? So and you cannot scale it very easily because LinkedIn by default doesn't like this automation on top of their platforms, and they're not actually allow it in an official way. So it's not so scalable. LinkedIn is not so scalable, but when you do in a combination with other channels, it gives a better feeling for the prospect that you actually real, and the combination together gives it much more value, and then the prospect believe you more, that you actually want to work with him or sell him something, I don't know, collaborate. So I think LinkedIn itself is not so scalable, was the combination of other channels which are more scalable. It gives a lot of value.
And I know you do it something pretty cool where on LinkedIn you basically create like a persona profile that's works at the your client's company, but it's not a real person. It's just AI basically acting on LinkedIn as they're a real employee for your client. So can you just talk about the future of like AI personas on LinkedIn and maybe other social media platforms?
Yeah. Uh, Honestly, yeah, I think honestly it's always better to use your own LinkedIn. Honestly, if I need to tell you the truth, it's possible to create your, not a real profile on LinkedIn, but it's very hard, and it's better not to try to beat this huge company. Obviously, they're giants, so I would always use a real profile from LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a. I know they're trying like heck to stop anybody from not being a real human.
Right.
So, all right, and I know that you get right into booking calls or getting to the point where people are interested. Um, and can you tell us a little bit about this? Is this more like the uh, where you mentioned the inbound piece?
Yeah, so this is the direction of the direction of the inbound. So detecting who visited your website, then the CRM. So in this specific feature, we can detect who visit your website and also reach out to them as well, which is also very powerful. Also a source of potential customers and demos for B2B businesses.
Got it. Okay, and where is the future of automated calling going? I know it's getting wild,
Yeah,
but is there
yeah,
any
yeah, so we are also thinking 1 week it will be officially running on our tool. We were in beta. From our deep research, and I think tens of thousands of calls, I would say the following thing. Americans don't like picking up the phone. Maybe they are tired of cold calling, but everyone else in the world are very excited when someone is cold calling them. I mean, I don't know how to say it, but not the reply rate, but yeah, maybe the pickup of the phone rate is much higher than in the US. This is the first thing. Second thing, which is working much better when we say, I mean, the agent saying that he is an AI agent. So we see more interactions with the AI phone call. Other than that, other than when we call and try to fool the person, and I mean, and don't say that this is not a real caller. So this is also something we figured out. Yeah, and it's very interesting, but again, it's working very well in a combination with other channel. When it's by itself, it's much harder. The results are not so good. Yeah, so in a combination with other channels, we see the results are much better.
It's really good, Daniel, to share how behind the scenes you're taking us here, because it's not like you're just telling us everything we want to hear. You're sharing what is really going on from your view as a founder, kind of command control center, seeing where things are working or where they're not. So appreciate your honesty always. I walked you through the playbooks before. I won't necessarily walk you through again, but if you still need help from a standpoint of like you want someone like myself or my team members to talk to you about your branding or how cold outreach works for you and whatnot, and you need a little more of that human strategizing, some companies need it, then feel free to reach out to me at Pranam at eocworks.com. And Daniel, here's his contact information. I would highly recommend giving AnyBiz a try, because again, you won't have to worry about relearning or learning AI on your own. This thing will just do it for you. So you can see here, you can scan the code there into your phone. Whoops. And go to the QR code on your phone, and then or reach out to Daniel directly. Any questions that we can answer for you guys? We really appreciate you being here. If there are no questions, we appreciate the people that joined us today. It's a good crew and from all over. And Daniel, thanks for taking the time. And it's been good. So last call for questions. Otherwise, we'll give you guys your time back, and we're right on time.
Yeah, we will also publish this recording on social media. So yeah, and we will share it if you want to watch it again.